Okay, I'll start. My name is Karen Lacey. I have been here for 6 years now.
Going on, yeah.
About 6 years at Immaculate Conception.
I'm Karen's husband, Walter Lacey. We're a member of Immaculate Conception. She said I've been here for going on 6 years, both from the Kansas, Oklahoma area, and so moving up here has been kind of a huge change for us for the better. It's been an amazing church to be part of, and we're excited to be investing in more things that the church provides.
My name is Troy Schmidt, and I've lived in Richmond my whole life, and I've been a member here at Immaculate Conception many years.
My name is Robert. We moved here about a little over 6 years ago. We call ourselves Minnesconsins. We've come over from Minnesota. Been over here for 6 years, and we go out to St. Patrick's Church. So.
And I'm off screen, but I'll lean forward a little bit. My name is Kim Palmer, and I've been at Immaculate Conception Church here for over 30 years, and I came from Minnesota too, and that's the first I ever heard that, or Minnesconsins.
You've never heard that? Oh my
No,
gosh.
I've never heard that, but apparently I'm Minnesconsin.
I'll have to get you a Christmas ornament. We bought a Christmas ornament last year that says Minnesconsin on it.
So I am part of the search committee, and what brought me to search was the last almost 10 years I've been a catechist teacher for the youth. Started when my son was in 4th grade, and followed him all the way up to 8th grade, and then I jumped in and got a new batch of kids on Edge and junior high, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and now those boys are now freshmen in high school. So I was looking for something for myself to enrich my faith. Not that being a catechist teacher didn't do that, but I was looking for some adult interaction. So search committee was fun, and being a part of the discussion group at a table with 6 other people was really enlightening to talk to adult people about your faith and stuff. So I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, on that same line, it was that experience to break away from the normalcy of men, and search was just one of those things that it actually brought about all kinds of things out of your mind that you never even thought about your faith and what it meant to be religious versus what it meant to be a Christian, what it meant to be different things, and you're like, so each time we got together, it was something new, and the discussions, you had so many different thoughts and people that thought differently about it, and it's always nice to have your big church and your big Catholic community, but when you break it off into smaller pieces and you get those small groups, I think you get more out of it. Like you said, the camaraderie of it and the closeness of it, and those people, and some of the things you were on the same wavelength as somebody. You're like, well, yeah, that's exactly what I thought, or it was something different than what you've done, And it brought out all kinds of thought-provoking things that you never thought of before. You've been, like you said, you've been the Catholic, and you've been doing the thing for so many years. But I bet there was some things that you're like, wow, I never really thought of it that way. Mm-hmm. There's always more ways to explore your faith and more ways to learn and do and things like that. So yeah, I think it's great too. My wife was with me, and we did it together, and we plan on probably doing it again. Just we did it once, but there again, we might go back and actually do it a second time, because you never know. It's kind of like going to a movie, and you always watch that movie, and sometimes you go, well, wait a minute, I'm going to go back and watch that one. I'm going to go back and watch that one again because you might get something different out of it that you got the second time than you did the first time. So.
Yeah, and a huge thing for me, this whole pandemic has turned everything upside down, right? What was normal or what was reality before has completely shifted. And I've been deepening my faith through the goodness of my wife that made me more in tune with what religion is about and what Catholicism is about, and all of the different, sacraments and everything that goes into it. And it's been such an amazing organization to experience firsthand. I come from a background of really jumping from church to church when I was little. It's funny because I look at my son now and buying him Pokemon cards all the time, and that's when I was a kid. My mom bribed me with Pokemon cards just to get me to go to church, right? And so I was like, oh, I knew if I go to church, I'm going to get these Pokemon cards, right? So I was never really there to get anything out of it. We'd go from church to church, and I'd go to one church because it had the right band, or I'd go to another because they got me excited and they were up and going, but there was no structure to it. There was no sense of going back to biblical times and understanding, why they do certain things. And so that's why, when we moved here, 5-6 years ago, I'd been following my wife along with her faith, and had never committed myself to becoming a Catholic. And it wasn't until coming to Immaculate Conception that I finally decided, this is something I want to devote the rest of my life to in my faith. And I became Catholic here at Immaculate Conception. It's been a very humbling experience, and I'm by no means ever going to be perfect or close to it. I make a lot of mistakes, as I'm sure many of us do. But coming to the Search, it really provided that sense of belonging that I haven't really had in a religious faith. And so for me to be able to go and sit down with like-minded individuals that are all there and open to learning and expressing their faith differently was a really cool experience. And it brought up that minutia of rambling thoughts that I have in my head of, I'm stuck at home. I work from home now. I'm used to going to a corporate office every day. And all of a sudden I'm by myself. I'm like, whoa, what am I doing? What's tomorrow look like? Who knows when this pandemic's going to end? All of these uncertainties, but the one thing for certain was I was going to go to Search every single week, and I was going to meet with our table, I was going to meet with our group, and I was going to expand my faith more. So I loved the learning from it. It's not necessarily a solution-based program, right? If anything, it's an open your eyes type experience, and like you said, some days you go in there and you're like, I want to do it again because I learned something or I see something that I missed the first time. And you hear things differently, and I believe that through all things, God has His voice that allows us to hear certain things that are impactful for us at that time. And that could be a different experience the next time that you go in, right? And so just being able to be with my wife at that, deepening my faith and being able to just truly lean into being open-minded, it was huge for me. And as soon as it ended, I was like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? I need something, some level of involvement.
I'm not going to do every week.
Yeah, well, this is part of my routine, right? And so thankfully, been able to continue, with some level of involvement by, teaching the youth group, kindergartners. And I'll tell you, like you say, Troy, there's a very different experience when you're working with little kids and then having conversations with adults. So it's extremely humbling. I look forward to the program restarting along with other programs that come in the future. So.
Yeah, for sure. I loved being able to do it not only with all the different people and getting to know them, and I actually still talk to some of them. I know that you were on Facebook friends because of it, and also those same people were in other programs now with it as well. So it's kind of nice to have gotten that camaraderie and you still get to build on it. It takes a lot for me to go to a program like that, and so to be able to do it with my husband and have that little bit of comfort level of I'm gonna know one person when I go there, right? There can be 100 other people, but I know I'm gonna know one. They might split us up. We might have to be at different tables, that kind of thing. But I had that little comfort blanket, and I think that in itself let me be very comfortable in the conversation and be able to say how I felt about things and also learn with him. I loved going through the RCIA experience because I got to, with him, because I've been Catholic my whole life, but being able to go through that with you, I got to learn so much more. So then to see that Search program through your eyes when you first became, you had become Catholic a year or two before that now, it was just a different aspect, and you point out things that I didn't see. And those videos in general you said it perfectly. They make you think about things you don't think about.
Right, exactly.
The very bluntness of it. I mean, I think the first video just kind of shocked me when it's like, you will die. Okay, this is how this is gonna be.
We all did. We all died.
Right?
It just opens up
Yeah,
this big
like,
graveyard.
You're gonna die
experience. Yeah.
eventually. Well, yes, that's true, but we all don't think about it like that.
Right.
I just knew that was gonna be that kind of thing every week, and it was gonna really make me think about the things that I never think about, you know? And it's nice to be able to back and forth with the other people at the table and see how they feel and the things that they point out. And it definitely helped start wanting to be more involved in the church, because not only do we do that, those same people at the table are also in a mom group that I'm in.
Right.
It's Cana, and it actually just started, so we got that on Monday nights. So some of the same ladies that were at her table, well, one lady, she's in that, so it's nice that I still get to talk to her. Also, we're teaching her kid in kindergarten at formation, and it's just opening up this family of people, and I just really enjoyed it because of that. I don't know.
Okay, well, to tag on to a few things, as you said, you had talked about your journey of faith and everything else, kind of still went away with. I was like, I grew up what do you want to refer to as Catholic, but I was baptized, but I was never confirmed, and I was never confirmed in confession, all those type of things. I did not actually become Catholic until I met my wife and we got married, and then I went through RCIA and I took the whole full Catholic journey from there. And anything like anything said from there on, I want to say you crave it. There's something you say, well, I want to learn more. I've started this journey, now I want to learn more. And how can I do that? Search is one of those great examples. This is how you can, and this is how you can. And the great thing about it is, and as we get more people hopefully involved in this, you've got everything from what we refer to as like the novices to more of the folks that have been here for quite some time. That you've got that vast array of knowledge that says, okay, some people might be newer to it, some people might be been around for years, but I feel even the person that's been in the system for 30 years, like him has been, you will always learn something. There's always something you're always gonna learn something that you didn't know before. So, and like you said, and when you're talking about your groups and things like that, I think that's interesting too, because there's so many people that you go to church every week and you see all these people and you say hi and you wave and things like that, and it's like, and then all of a sudden you sit down to the table and you're like, oh wait a minute, I know you from somewhere, and it's like, yeah, I sit behind you every week or something like that, and it just gives you that better, I said that better, how the church can, kind of just meld together a little bit better in that sense, People just got to come out of their shells. It gives you a chance to come out of your shell, so to speak, and like you said, you were kind of
Adding on to that, my wife is a textbook introvert, right? And like she said, it takes a lot for her to be vulnerable and go to these types of things. And I would consider myself to be an extroverted introvert, right? Meaning in certain capacities I can go out and be social, especially in a business sense. Right? These quotes, and they say that to never, underestimate the struggles that people are experiencing in their everyday lives, because we're all going through it in some capacity. And so being able to go to a place where we could learn and be a little more extroverted, I think is helpful, but it's also that place where even if you're extremely introverted, they save a space for you, right? I love that it's instructor-led. That's a huge thing. Tim Mesker led our table, and I love Tim. We actually went through the RCIA program together, and that did lead our table and helping us, understand certain things. He always provided these examples from like a biblical sense that were relevant in today's time, right? And I thought that was helpful because there was our table was primarily, if I can speak frankly, pretty introverted. Right, and so we sat there, we saw these things, and me and my wife were kind of like, "Holy cow, we're gonna die!" It's like, "Oh my gosh,
okay. Not to scare you."
Where he said it's gonna start with "You're gonna die."
Yeah, no. It's not there to scare you, right? It's there to say like, "Hey, in this world, there is a greater thing. There is a greater purpose. There is a greater church. There's a greater family, right? You're not in this alone. You're not here to let those saboteurs chirp in your ear all day long and feel like you're not good enough, right? You're on at this level of exploring your faith that's going to be different for everyone.
Right.
And I think that's what really, really drew me to it, and what I look forward more to is getting to know more people.
I said, now what you're talking about your instructor, I have to put in the plug for Maria, our instructor here out at St. Patrick's. I mean, if hopefully she's coming back to do it again with us. To describe Maria is, I mean, she is the sweetest, the most kindest, she's one of those people that you feel like if you need a hug, she's one of those people.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is my spiritual catalyst.
She-
She's wonderful. She's the one that started the Moms Canaan group,
Right.
so I see her all the time. She's the one that got me started going to that. I think she's actually, like, I say that she's my spiritual catalyst because she was that person. My son went to her son's birthday party. I met her, and then she started emailing me about this moms group that she's going to start, and that is what started participating in that, planning it, going to training with her, and going to search and going information and getting more involved in church and journal just because she put herself out there.
Things that or the other sessions to get away from maybe the picture that we provided before. It's this. I remember one of the sessions being like, everything that had to happen to create this world and to create all of these things that have occurred over time is only, there's only one answer, right? And that one answer is God. And our faith is, in my humble opinion, not to be arrogant, but is the closest connection to God. And so to go through that experience, and believe me, I've been a doubter. I've been a person that's doubted my faith a lot over the years, and constantly I put myself, I'm like, what? If there was a God, why would you do this? Or why would you make this happen? And I think we all go through our own trials and tribulations of life experiences that really put us down in the dumps, so to speak. But as I continue to look on, and I know this following, my wife through several years of Catholic church and going to church for 10 plus years, something I never did before, there's things that have occurred in my life that otherwise would have never happened, right? And so when I think of this chain of events that occurred that allowed me to meet my spouse and allowed me to be more comfortable and open-minded to going to church and allowed me to be confident in my decision making to say, I do want to be Catholic, and I want my son to be raised in the Catholic church, and we have him at St. Mary's and he loves it, and every day he comes home and he's telling us about all these new things, faith-based that he learned, and I'm like, my son knows more about this than I do, right?
He's not good at praying the rosary, and Cam came home and was like, I know how to do it, let's do it, this is what you do.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, Dad, I got one here, let me show you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, and so I'm just so proud of him. And so that one session was really impactful, right? It just goes through all of these things that occurred that make it to where it's just eye-opening, right? So if you're a person that's struggling with your faith, if you're a person that don't know exactly where you fit in the grand scheme of things, search is huge because it's going to put you in that mindset to experience that for yourself. And it's going to be different for everyone, right? But seeing some of those just very, very large, zoomed out things was huge, right? Because so many times we get stuck in our okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, and this is this, and this is this. And we read the scripture and we're good at these things, but we're always zoomed into our faith, right? We're always zoomed into our personal relationships, and we're zoomed into our work life, we're zoomed into everything. And so having a session or a program that from my perspective is very zoomed out lens of the philosophy and just holistic nature of what the program provides is exactly what I needed. So it was great.
That was what's so different about the search is it's not to knock a Bible study, but it's not a Bible study. We're not opening it up, we're not reading scripture, we're not going through.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
I was a little terrified. That's what
Right, you don't have to bring your Bible with you. If you want, but it's like we watch the video and you discuss it, and before that you have some fellowship, and that's what makes it so great. I always said that when I taught those young kids that everybody's faith is different. you know. Some people's faith is strong, and some people is, I don't know about this, you know, and it's kind of like wading in the pool. Some people are in the shallow end, and some people are in the deep end. And when you're teaching, it's like you're trying to teach everybody, you know, where you're at and stuff. And it's the same way with search, you know. Your table can be somebody that's new to the faith or somebody that's been there their whole lives, and that same person can learn from each other, you know, whether you're new to the faith or been doing it your whole life and stuff. So that's what I really liked about search. It was something totally different that I've done, you know, from being Catholic my whole life. So.
And not to get us wrong though, is, I mean, obviously it's going, I mean, if you search is not going to give you all the answers. Search is not going to give you every single answer to everything that you ever wanted to know about the Catholic faith. But it's a very good place to start. It's a good place that's you want to use the word, it's going to make you hungry for more. It's going to make you wonder. It's going to make you think. It's going to make you want to learn more. So it's not going to give you all the answers, but it's going to give you a lot of answers that you may not have known before. And it's going to give you lots of things to think about for future. So it's a good starting point. You know?
It sparks the conversation.
Right?
It's not a, I'm gonna go to this hour and I'm gonna dedicate to this, and then when I leave here I'm just gonna go back to going home and raising my kid and God bless Maria. I don't know how in the world she has the energy that she has, because if I were her I'd just be exhausted 24/7. But it's what that session provides for the weeks to come, right? Mm-hmm. It's going through that and really being introspective and you know, my wife and I still, you know, we'll have conversations about, you know, different topics that may have been sparked from the search program. So it's this ever evolving learning of yourself in this, you know, walk of faith. And like you said, you're not going to come to the class and be like, oh, I get it now. I've got all the answers. And anytime I'm doubting, I'm just going to pull it up and be like, hey, there it is. That's the answer right there, right? And it's kind of like, you know, me not being Catholic and getting married, having to go through the marriage counseling portion of, and I forget what it's called. My wife would know. What was it?
When we went with the priest, or what
we went to the lock-in at that church in Wichita. Engaged encounters. You know, it was kind of that experience where in that engagement encounter you see all of these potential roadblocks that's going to be in your marriage, and it's going to be like, hey, what are you going to do in this situation? What are you going to do in this situation? So I really search to a lot of that experience, because although maybe it doesn't provide the answers, provides the solutions, but it gives you something to think about, and it gives you something to always work on in your faith. You know, we have those books now, and we can open it, and we have these thought-provoking questions, and the questions are all pulled right from the video. And so when you read those questions, you're right back in the class, and you're experiencing it all over again. It's the same thing with, you know, marriage encounters or engagement encounters, etc., where you're like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, this is what I said I would do, and this is what I've committed to do, and what has occurred that's made me go this way, right? And it's cliche to say, but the fastest point from A to B is in a straight line, right? However, us in life, whether it be in our religious faith and our personal relationships, professional relationships, etc., we see ourselves doing this constantly, right? We want to be here. It's like, well, if we just did this, we'd get there in no time, and like we could live the rest of our lives happy, right? Like, all you gotta do is this way. But we constantly do this, right? And so to have programs like this, it allows you to stay focused on that straight line, to stay in tune with your faith, and to continue to be engaged and move forward, right? Without those things, to me, it's just like, okay, I'm going to go to church, I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to learn from the homily and, you know, tie it to my own life experiences and whatnot, but it still allows me to do this, and this, and this, and this. Because again, it is just this structured, very much like, hey, bring your Bible, and we're going to talk about the gospel and these things. And so when we provide another outlet, another opportunity for people to learn more and to really challenge themselves to provide that solution through their faith, is a game changer. And so I admire you a lot for starting that program, because it's affected my life tremendously. And so anything that, you know, the church continues to put on is something I want to be a part of.
I like the word. I like the funny because I just off the top of my head I just thought about the name of the program in general, search. Because I mean, you know, isn't that what we're all doing? Isn't that what we're all doing? We're all searching for something. We're all looking for something. We're all searching for something, and exactly what that is, we'll never know. Like you said, we're here, we're there, we're here, we're searching for something different, something new every day. So what is that final destination? And this there again, I mean, it gives you that information that says, okay, what are we searching for? It helps you maybe make some of those decisions that says, what am I searching for? And is this what I'm really searching for? You know, maybe I've been searching for the wrong thing for so many years, and now this kind of sheds light on and says, well, no, this is a little something different. So, you know, we're all searching for something. What is it?